When one door closes, comma, bigger doors start to open. But they may not open immediately, and you must keep your eyes open for them. Or even better, you must search for them. Hello, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. Congratulations for finding it. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you so much. I kind of want to do a little different pace today. I usually do some type of motivational, some type of tips throughout the day, throughout the week, different things that can help you be a little bit more organized, be a little bit more professional in whatever way it might be. Maybe it could be even something as simple as around the home, but it's mainly performance-based and enhanced, and just way to keep momentum is kind of what I'm focusing on. But this one's going to be a little bit different, type of a video that I want to shoot today. And I actually have some notes here too, so if you see me looking down at my notes, that's what I'm actually doing. Just kind of have some things, and I'll probably share them with you as we kind of go along here too. But the whole purpose of this video today is I'm going to read it right off my notes. Have you ever lost something that felt tragic at the time, but later you found out that is one of the biggest blessings that you could ever receive? I want to see if there's other people out there that maybe have been through something similar. It could be totally different. Mine is, I did some videos last week, 5 things that I assume that people might not know about me. Some people might, some people didn't. I'm not sure if you saw those. You can find those in my content log there earlier too, so feel free to go back on that. But I'm just going to elaborate a little bit more on this one thing that I thought a lot of people might not know about me, depending on how well you know me. Just over 2 years ago, I was working a business. I was a managing partner for a business in downtown Fargo, and I feel like we had a big presence down there. There's a lot of good things going on down there, and I think we were a big part of that, not only then but now. And so that's kind of where I was going from, and where I brought into these things that you might not know about me is how I got into the world of marketing, and how that led me to where I'm at today. And so this was something that at the time seemed like a tragedy, something that happened to me, and then later looking back on it, the farther away from it I get, the more I realize how good it actually was. But it's like anything, the closer you are to it, the harder it is to really stomach, and there's a lot of questions as to why, and a lot of soul searching that goes on. But at the end of the day, when you can look back on these things and take these past experiences and use them in a positive way in the future, I think that really shows character about people, and I'm sure you've done that in your life as well. I had different business partners throughout the years. I was kind of in the same space for about 13 years. It was the service industry. I started as a bartender in college, worked my way up to general manager, and then became managing partner. And towards the end of it, what actually happened is it was the partnership that we had was breaking off, and there was another party that came in. They wanted to buy the land, is what it was, but through the partnership, the deciding factor was either everything goes or nothing goes. So along with the land, with the business and everything, it was an all or one package. Well, when this ended up happening, everything went, and the business that actually approached to buy the land was the largest potato producer in the world. They're local in the state of North Dakota, Minnesota. I'm sure a lot of you might even know who they are. Anyway, they decided that they were going to put their corporate offices in downtown Fargo, and when push came to shove, it never ended up happening at that location. They're now moving to a different location in downtown Fargo, but it's kind of a thriving place, and this is kind of when it was all happening. But anyway, long story short, they had asked me if, or part of my contract with the business that we were selling was I had to stay on with them for, I can't remember if it was 30, 60, 90 days, something like that, to show them the ropes of the business and show them how it worked, the ins and outs. I did everything from scrubbing the toilets to hiring staff to, everything, tax, you name it. So I basically did everything. Obviously, I had employees. Things that I could delegate to them, they would obviously do, but a lot of times I felt like a one-man show. The only thing I wasn't doing was serving drinks sometimes throughout the day, but honestly, I still felt like I was still serving drinks. People would come in for happy hour that I would know. They came in there to say hi, whatever. And a lot of the times I was taking care of customers right there when I wasn't, messing with the air conditioning unit. This was a business I built from the ground up. We were selling $3 drinks and doing a couple $1 million worth of business in sales per year. And I remember when I first was kind of sliding into the role that I was as general manager, we were doing a couple $100,000 per year. So over the years, there's an extravagant amount of growth, which I felt was a good learning experience. It was good for me. It was good for everyone involved. We did a lot of business. All our employees always did very well. They made really good money as well. People always wanted to work there. I always had people on the back burner to come in there. So it was a fun business, and I thought that's what my life was. I thought the service industry was where I was going to be for the remainder or a good portion of my life. In the back of my mind, I knew it was something I couldn't always do for the rest of my life. But at that time, it was what I knew how to do, and I was going to do it as long as I was still enjoying it. And at that time, I felt like I still was. Looking back on it, maybe I wasn't enjoying it to the fullest. I was at home an hour in the morning to get ready, eat breakfast, shower, and then I was at work till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then do it all over again back there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So it was a never-ending. It was what I knew of what life was. So very rarely would you ever walk into that building and not find me somewhere in that building. So unless I had plans to be somewhere else, my exit from there actually came as a surprise. I like I said, I took on a contract. I was working for the company that purchased our company, so now I was the employee at the end. Had no ownership in the business or anything like that. I was just working as strictly a general manager. Didn't have, like I said, this company's a huge corporation. They're a global company. Not once was I ever written up or any type of repercussions or anything from anything I had done wrong. So this came totally blindsided me. So there was no warning. Even when I had got the news as to what was happening, I asked if they wanted me to stay on for 30 days or 2 weeks just to train in the next person. That wasn't an option, which was really hard for me because this was something I poured my life into for 13 years. And to not even be able to make sure that, I had things that I wanted to still accomplish. I had things on my to-do list for that day, for that week, for that year. And those things weren't done. And that's what really bothered me, was stopping. And that was extremely hard for me. And not only with that, but once this corporation took over, they were great for an employer, as far as they wanted to take over my cell phone and do all the different things for me, which I thought was fine at the time. They gave me a choice where they'd get me a new phone or they could take over my contract. And at the time I just said, well, take over my contract, and part of the deal was that if there was any termination, that my phone would go with it. And, I knew I was going to have to switch my phone at some point in time, phone number and all that stuff, but I just figured I would wait until the end rather than doing it that day when they took over, because everyone knew how to get a hold of me that way. Well, anyway, that ended up happening when this happened. And so the day that I was let go, released to my duties, I handed over my cell phone. And with that went all my contacts, went all my, my phone numbers, my contacts, all my email contacts, any email conversations that I had, pretty much everything. I ran my life through my phone, through all those email addresses, through all those different platforms and everything, and everything was gone. So I thought I would be able to switch with my iCloud and be able to keep contacts and things like that, but the system that they were using, and like I said, it's a huge company, so between their VPSs and VPNs and things like that, it didn't jive where I could just get my information like you'd be able to do and go get a new phone. So I literally lost my physical phone. I lost my everything inside of it. And I remember the day when I was leaving, when I was going home, kind of felt like a relief, after I packed up the few things that I was allowed to grab and left, and no one had a way to get a hold of me, which was kind of nice at the time because I knew people were probably wondering, why I wasn't going to be there. And so, for the first day and a half, I thought it was kind of cool. Went home and was like cleaning my garage and weird stuff like that, and just kind of clearing my head. And it didn't really kick in until people started stopping by my house that normally didn't stop by, and really I never spent that much time at my house anyway, so it was just kind of an odd feeling. But people were stopping over to see how I was doing, which was extremely great. It was nice, and I didn't have a phone to get a hold of anyone, and people were, so So I see why people were trying to get a hold of me. They were probably worried, especially once they got the news. They knew that was a big part of my life, and losing that, who knows what people might think or whatever. But and I was okay with that. It was nice. But then I had to explain to them, which they didn't understand, that it's the same phone number and same email and everything that I had for years. So they didn't just think that all of that would be wiped out. So with me not getting back to people, I understand how confusing that was for them as to why I wasn't. So the person who carried that phone after me probably wasn't the most ideal situation for them, because it really shows who your real friends are. People who I thought were my real friends, people that I spoke to on a daily basis, and people that I bent over backwards for to do things for, were no longer there, and vice versa. I didn't have them to go to either. Either one, I didn't have their phone number, or two, they quit associating with me because of a physical location that I wasn't at anymore. So that was tough, and I always thought that I was surrounding myself with the best people, because that's what we all want to do. And now looking back on it, those really weren't. Now the people who I'm still associating with and people who I still talk to are the ones that I really know were there for me, and not there for me because of that position or that business or whatever it may be. So it really sheds some light on you, and it really makes you think. Not be on everyone's way home, stuff like that. So I get that, but it just really turns your perspective as to the people who you can call. Another really hard part about that was, as far as half to 3/4 of the staff walked out after they got the news that I was no longer going to be there. And at first you think that's kind of cool and whatever, and that they're loyal and things like that, and some were, and I didn't ask anyone to do it. A lot of them did do it, and at the time I kind of thought that was cool. Well, then I'm starting to get emails from a personal email address that I actually went and got a phone the next day that I had hooked up to, and that was the only communication I had with this business that I was associated with. And a couple days later, all of a sudden I get news that since all the staff walked out and everything else that was going on, that was no longer even allowed to come back on that property. And so that hurt. I thought that was kind of a weird move. I mean, I didn't do anything to even there was nothing that was justified for this even to happen, much less me not even be able to go there anymore. So I thought that was kind of weird, but I had heard a couple things through the grapevine. It's all rumors as to why that might be, but here nor there, I guess I haven't been back. I'm not going to go somewhere where I'm not welcomed, and so that was tough. Along with my phone and my contacts, all my social media pages and groups and things that we had through that business that I'd been developing for years, those were gone. Had no way of getting hold of people. I lost 100% of my income. I feel like I was pretty good about saving and stuff like that, but depending on what your expenses are, and when you go from having an income like that to not, it's tough to cut down on some of that spending, and a lot of times you don't even know what you're spending your money on. So that was a big wake-up call. It's, something that I hadn't really had to worry about since when I was in college or something like that. So that was a huge culture shock, along with my wages, my bonuses, things like that. The salary that I was actually paid was, peanuts compared to what I was actually getting paid, because part of the deal when we switched over, when I agreed to sign this contract, was a big portion of what I got paid was in bonuses, and the partnership beforehand, stuff like that. Wasn't always done the right way. I had learned the right and wrong way of doing businesses. So working with these different people, I knew one thing, was doing one thing, and then realized what I should be doing or what we should have been doing the whole time. So that was huge. And along with my bonuses was, 10 days before I got let go, we had our largest sales number ever, which was more than my salary throughout the year. We did in one day, and like I said, with $3 drinks half the time, because we were blowing out specials and stuff like that. So along with, not only just losing my actual income, but losing my bonus income too, which I was never even paid for, the last one, which, I wasn't really sure if that was going to happen or not. I thought, since I was there doing the actual, work up, preparing to that day, after that day, everything that would have happened or was happening, I was prepared for it. So, I kind of thought, if it was me as an employer, I would have paid that employee, especially with all of the work and everything leading up to that, because we had big events going on, the 10 days prior. And that was a big part of our quarter and everything like that. But here nor there, I'm a businessman as well. I realized that, this business I was running for years, and it was running itself. Obviously I had to be there, but I could do it in my sleep. Sometimes you got to trim the fat. I'm a businessman, they're business people. I realized that, they could probably get rid of me, my salary, my bonuses, and bring someone else in for, cents on the dollar kind of a thing, 10 cents on the dollar basically, to replace it with someone. I'd been doing that position for a long time. I was really good at it. I had anything. After you do it long enough, you learn how to find ways to do things a little bit more efficiently, and I was blessed to be able to do that. So, one thing that was really good about with this happening was, like I said, I didn't plan on it. I thought I'd be doing this for a long time, but it forced me to go in new directions. In new directions, you find all types of things. And like I said, I didn't plan on doing this for the rest of my life, but as far as my next step, I had some ideas of things I wanted to do, but nothing that I was really taking action on or doing. A couple things that I got into is I got into direct sales, and along with direct sales, if you even know what that is, but I still work with direct sales companies. I still do some affiliate marketing. I had one other door that opened up, and what that is selling other people's products until you get your own, things that you feel passionate about, things that you've created yourself, not only direct sales, not only affiliate marketing. Been blessed to work with the foreign exchange market, the FX market, doing types of trading, things like that. I've always really liked the financial world. It's always really fascinated me. I have a lot of friends who are financial advisors, financial planners, things like that, who I've known over the years, and I've always admired what they did, how they help people, and it's something I've always wanted to do. And now this gave me the opportunity to do that. So it's been a blessing, and I'm still learning that, and I'm learning more now than I even did when I was in college, and I love learning. I love expanding my mind. I love helping people. And so this is one way it forced me to do it. This gave me the chance to really beef up my social media. It gave me a chance to beef up my networking. It gave me a chance to really get good at prospecting and sales and things like that in a different way than what I was doing. I've expanded my Facebook, not only my Facebook profile, which I'd always had, but I had started a new Facebook page that was different from that business. I started a YouTube channel, really beefed up my Instagram. Now I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where, I love LinkedIn. I meet professionals every day, everyone from Russell Brunson to Bob Proctor to Dan Loke to, Mark Lavone, for instance. I mean, all kinds of these people who I might not have ever met before. Along with that was with the networking and prospecting and trying to figure out how this online business works. I've met so many valuable assets and people who have helped me through My Lead System Pro. There's just all kinds of different communities. Helped me start my blog, helped me start my podcast. I'm on Alexa. I'm creating skills, which is something that at this time Alexa was barely even a thing, and now have a big presence on Alexa. Facebook ads, Google AdWords, these are things that I was always paying other people to do. Is the back end of the business, which I was always relying on other people, but I had interest on them. Well, now I've had a little bit more time to be able to get into that. And along with time, extra time, there's no such thing as extra time, but with the time that I wasn't so focused on working 100 hours a week, with the direct sales kind of got me back into personal development, reading personal development books, listening to audibles, all that kind of stuff. You meet new people through these different things. An organization that I've been really involved with the last couple of years is the Landmark organization. I did my Landmark Forum in Austin, Texas. I didn't realize that there were seminar classes after it. Did those in Minneapolis. So I was driving from Fargo to Minneapolis once a week, to go and network and train and meet and just build this network of genuine people, authentic people. And it's something that I would have never been able to do if I was still running a bar and working 120 hours a week. I was barely able to get out of town, or I was barely able to leave that establishment to go home and sleep or run to a doctor's appointment. There's no way I could have been going to Minneapolis, once a week for my Landmark training and my Landmark development. It's something that it really allowed me to do, and it really helped me grow as a person. And not only did it teach me a lot about myself, but it taught me so much about other people and why we are humans and why we act the way we do, and just so many things, which has really gave me a shift. And not only does it help me, but it has helped me help people like you and really be able to tune in as to what people need, why we do things the way we do, and just genuinely be authentic. Another thing that has really allowed me to do is hang out with family and friends. And like I said, I had my friends, and I felt like I was surrounded by my friends all day long, every day. But looking back on it, I'm not even really sure. I mean, yeah, they were friends, yeah, they were acquaintances, but they weren't the genuine, authentic people. And I was around the wrong people. Maybe I didn't know how to connect with the right people, or realize that these are the people I should be connecting with. This has given me a chance to travel more. I've traveled more in the last couple of years than I did for 15 years before, leading up to that. I've been able to golf more, been able to do more outdoor activities, everything from hiking to whitewater rafting to fishing to skiing, snowboarding. I mean, you name it, I've done more of that the last couple of years than I've been able to do any time before that. Travel all around and visit people's cabins and second homes, and people who I've networked and known for years and either always wanted to go see, or new people that I've met now that have invited me places. And it's not that I'm married to a business anymore. It's I can get out and do these things. So it's opened that up for me. Just visiting family and friends, and through my entire time through the service industry, I made so many valuable connections in Napa Valley, Sonoma Valley, wine country, and all over the U.S. Different distributors and things like that. That whenever I saw them, they always gave me the green light and the go ahead, and next time you're in town, let me know, and I'll show you a good time. And yeah, maybe once a year I'd be able to do that stuff. But now with all these people, it was hard finding the connections. But I still remembered where people worked, and I still remembered everyone's names. So I got on the old Google machine, searched the old interweb, and I contacted and tracked down these people. And this goes back to, once you find the right genuine people, the ones that you really connected with and the ones that you should be connecting with, once I was able to track them down, I was able to go and associate with them and be with them, spend time with them outside of just the work environment. And so it's been a blessing. So it's weird, these are all different things that, some of them I thought that maybe someday they could happen, and other days I thought maybe there's no way that it could happen. But every day, every week, all these different things and that I've been able to do has just been able to expand on that. So it really lets me sit back, realize everything, and not be in such a hurry or not be so demanding, and just be able to enjoy life. And now I realize that there's more to life out there than just work. And trust me, I still work 16, 18 hours a day most days doing things, but it's different. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of implementing. Another skill that I've been able to not quite master yet, but I'm getting close, is the Octo content model, we call it. It's syndication to the 8 major platforms, and I've even taken that up a step, and I'm doing more than that. But there's a whole course and everything else that I've been collaborating on, and a couple different ones which kind of has all that. But these are all things that I would have never been able to do, or would even didn't even know that they existed. So it's huge. So that brings me back to reread the question to you. But have you ever lost something that felt tragic at the time, but later found out that is one of the biggest blessings you could ever receive? So it's amazing how just looking at a lot of this stuff and realizing that the farther away you get, the bigger that you realize that the blessing was when you were there doing it, but the more you realize that that blessing is not what you're always meant to do. So brings me to my last quote that I have right here. Last of my notes that you see me playing with over here. But when one door closes, bigger doors start to open. But they may not open immediately. And you must keep your eyes open for them. Or even better, you must search for them. Now, one word that I don't use a lot is but I just want to read this one more time because I have it written in capital letters, is when one door closes, comma, bigger doors start to open. But They may not open immediately, and you must keep your eyes open for them. Or even better, you must search for them. So that's where I'm at today. That's what I wanted to share with you. You know, sometimes things happen that you don't anticipate them happening, but it's life. We can't change them. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you so much for watching this, depending on where you're coming in from or how you're getting it. Like I said, I'm on all kinds of platforms, so there could be any ways that you could be seeing this, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking time to stop by, to listen, to watch, to take this in. And once again, this is Anthony Hendrickson. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video. Okay, bye-bye.